You can't imagine this. She broke through all the obstacles with her dad's funding and became the top student in school, with grades so good you'd be suspicious. She was about to head to medical school, but let's be honest, she was still from the servant class. A tragicomedy, isn't it? Brianna curiously asked, "Why aren't you talking to Robbie?" Cecilia replied, "I just took a detour through different circles." Picture of her sister was filled with coldness and rejection, and Brianna thought, wow, this is rejection, or maybe just a wonderfully bizarre mistake. Brianna planned to have her cousin and those mischievous twins audition for her freshly written script. Is that considered a casting call? Coincidentally, her cousin Lola and those mischievous twins showed up for a refreshing holiday after being sent to escape the heat. Lola was just a teenage girl, but every move she made screamed him practically an adult. The two rascals were having a blast, and Brianna found herself drawn to a bee at the window, only to accidentally witness a scene that left her aghast. Cecilia, right in front of Robbie, casually peeled off her skirt, with the silk underwear showing up like it was invited to the party. Brianna's eyes nearly popped out. She held her breath, her cheeks flushed like a model just stepping out of a fashion show. Her curiosity and instinct tugged at her to turn away, but the water rippled like it was gossiping. What a scene. But surely, Brianna assumed this was all sinister, thinking, wow, this world is dark and twisty. She mistakenly thought that a certain gentleman was cornering her sister and believed that the lack of resistance was due to fear. So, she saw it all as a wellspring of inspiration, envisioning her world as orderly, her script being the universe she controlled. The chaos she witnessed? No way she could deal with that, so she started rewriting the whole scene in her mind. She saw her sister's actions as shame symbols, imagining Robbie's gaze as malicious. But things weren't quite as Brianna imagined. Cecilia was right by the bed, catching sight of Robbie. She froze briefly, as if spotting something amazing, then grabbed a mason jar and rushed downstairs. Cecilia and Robbie were childhood friends, and they even made it to Cambridge together. But fate doesn't really play by fairy tale rules, does it? The difference in their social standings felt like an unseen wall, trapping them on opposite ends of a tough road, indeed. When Cecilia learned Robbie was thinking about flying the coop for school, her heart sank in despair. All she could do was bottle it up. Subtitles. She carried the vase and walked towards the fountain. Robbie attempted to assist, but ended up messing things up, causing Cecilia's long pent-up anger to finally explode. Suddenly, she stripped off her clothes and dove into the water like a graceful fish, searching for the fallen jar of fragments. Under the sunlight, she was exquisite, leaving Robbie dumbfounded. What a scene to behold! In a flurry, Cecilia quickly dressed and held the jar as she hurried away, not looking back for a second, leaving behind a defiant figure in rippling waters that seemed to echo her spirit. As twilight fell, the bells of tallies rang, accompanied by the approach of horse hooves. It was Brianna and Cecilia's brother Leon, back in a suit that radiated power and a mysterious man at his side. Rumor has it he's an heir to a chocolate factory and a millionaire. Talk about a social drama. Cecilia stood in the balcony, looking down at the spectacle with a rather disinterested air. She had no interest in this money-based man, but her feelings were a confusing mix nonetheless. Having already distanced herself from the class game, all she cared about was Robbie. On the other hand, Lola was a different story. At only 15, her eyes carried a mix of anticipation and caution. She had already noticed the stranger, her eyes like a hunter's, bearing an inviting demeanor. When the newcomer gazed at her, there was an inexplicable warmth in his eyes, undeserving of an adult. He complimented her beauty, saying she would capture the eyes of all of London one day. Someone's about to take flight. Lola's expression was a mixed bag of girlish shyness and an illusion of being understood. She craved adult recognition while managing to learn how to play nice. What a little clever fox. This unbalanced exchange, however, laid the groundwork for something deeper. She thought it was admiration, but in reality, it was just a predator's scrutiny. With all that done, Lola found it hard to calm herself. She replayed the argument over and over, realizing her actions might have been a bit rash. She wondered, maybe I should say something. Perhaps it's time for an apology or an explanation. So she sat down to write a letter of apology, but the more she wrote, the more off course she went. Emotions poured out like a dam burst, flowing uncontrolled on the paper, her eyes, her lips. Each word was bolder than the last, until she couldn't help but chuckle at how absurd it was. She picked up her pen and wrote a proper apology letter, looking every bit like a rookie. Though her feelings were stormy, she stuffed the letter into an envelope. Tonight was the big homecoming for Leon. Lola hurriedly made her way to Cecilia's house, but all those practiced words turned into a fog. Just when she spotted Brianna, it hit her. She had grabbed the wrong letter. What a classic blunder. If you enjoyed this show, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content in the future.